don't know why, but I literally just the other day had this like thought about when I was younger and I had so many goals and like dreams, and I thought that I knew everything I wanted to do. Of course, it's not that I always did know what I want to do, and it fluctuated a lot as I was growing up and like going through the motions, getting like other people's opinions on my life and everything, and people started weighing in on what I should do, which happens a lot. And I feel like it's a very tragic thing that happens to us when we become like adults and we have these people that surround us that they love us and they want the best for us, but they genuinely sometimes project some of their things onto us and we don't even realize it at that age. So then it turns out to be this huge thing that we feel like we need to kind of people please at a young age and kind of like do these things that these people are telling us to do because it sounds great, but that's only because if they were to have done that for themselves or whatnot, that probably would have made them a lot happier. They're probably living in this world where they want to go see you do that because they genuinely couldn't do it themselves. Now, the other thing is they're probably also projecting their insecurities on you. So what happens is that they genuinely want you to be safe. It's not that they wish any harm on you at all or anything. They want you to be safe and they want you to actually go out and do good for yourself. But here's the catch. All of their limiting beliefs and all of their things that they've made up in their head, their fears and everything throughout their life so far, are going to be a catalyst to what they want you to do. So it's going to be kind of like a mix of what they're afraid of that they think would like do best for you. I know I'm kind of rambling, but when I was younger, I always wanted to deal with like wildlife animals. I thought about being a zoologist and everything. I genuinely was thinking about it the other day and I was talking to a friend and I was like, man, I was reflecting the other day about how it randomly popped in my head how it all started, what I actually really wanted to do when I was younger, and what I came up with on my own. So this wasn't something somebody projected onto me or anything like that. It was something that I genuinely came up with on my own, and I know that because I was genuinely, like, I was obsessed with it, right? So the thing that I came up with on my own was when I was younger, I liked to do a few things. Climb trees, I like to be adventurous, I love to be out in nature. I loved wildlife and just in general, like animals and everything. Anything in its natural habitat. I also loved plants and just even like rocks and stuff, right? Anything like sand, anything that I could get my little hands on that seemed different that I had not touched before that belonged to the earth. Like I wanted a piece of that, okay? So that also included, I also wanted to draw nature a lot. I wanted to draw these kind of things a lot. I love drawing animals and stuff like that. And I genuinely found a deep interest in looking through like zoo books, zoo books, animal books. I'm so sorry. I did look at zoo content online and everything, like how to be a zoologist, but that's later. Um, I would look at like animal books and stuff like that. So I wanted to learn everything about like wildlife, animals. I genuinely found science interesting, and all of that. So one of the things that I realized is, like I said, I loved animals, and I immediately like put that out there. And when I did put that out there, I feel like that wanting and everything then turned into something that people were kind of like, oh, this is an interest of hers, let's suggest things. Now, while that's a good thing, I really, really like wanted to be, I wanted to shoot for the stars, right? When you're younger, anything's possible, right? So I wanted to shoot for the stars. And that was like, I want to be, I don't quite know yet, but someone who's out there dealing with the jungle or Africa or whatever and doing that type of thing, like the work out there and studying like maybe these animals and stuff like that, right? So that's kind of like what I had in my mind, that plan, right? And I was like, I genuinely can do this. You know, when you're young, you're like, yes. And you genuinely can. Like, that's the point of this whole video that I'm making. But, yeah. So that happened. And then I eventually was like, man, you know, when I get older, I also want to travel a lot. Because the whole nature thing was a huge thing, too. And it wasn't just wildlife. There was an aspect more to it, like nature in general, that I wanted to experience. I wanted to go out and, like I said, feel all the things I could from Mother Nature and, like, Earth, right? So, hence started what a lot of us, I think, go through with our family and everything when we are younger. And there's a lot of framework, if you will, in like conditioning. So I started getting told that maybe I should go and what was the first thing? So the first thing it shrunk down to probably was maybe, okay, so you want to do that. Maybe you can be like a marine biologist. You know, they were just kind of like throwing some options out to me, and I was like, wow, this is great. Awesome. But I kind of found out really quickly that I was like, oh man, you know, I need to go do the schooling for these. And one of the big things people will tell you, and I know that like I was told at least, was like, you got to work really hard for it. So they don't exactly tell you, you know, people don't really want to tell you like, oh my God, like if you really want it, you can do it. If you really do want it, you can do it. And this is not me at all blaming people for how my life turned out. I'm happy. I just was thinking and reflecting on this, and I wanted to put it out there. And I feel like eventually you can learn these things on your own, and it's never too late to change your life. It's never too late to actually go for what you want to do and just fuck it and do it. So, like, that's the premise of the whole video that I guess I'm gonna get to in the ending. But yeah, I feel like I was told maybe, you know, be a marine biologist, maybe do this, do that, and I kind of like got told it was really hard work to achieve these things. And one of the biggest things is like, oh my God, the field is very competitive. There's so much competition out there. You need to kind of consider that going in. Like, are you ready for this? And of course, being like an overwhelmed girly that did not know anything about like life yet, I took what these older people were saying and genuinely were like, oh my God, they're like, wow, they seem really scared. Like, they seem scared for me. They seem scared that I might not be able to do it. And like, that was probably the biggest thing. It seemed like these people were like, there's a 50-50 chance that you're probably going to be able to do that. Maybe rethink it. I mean, at the end of the day, they would be like, if you really want to do it, like, you know, go for it and see, you know. But I don't think anybody really told me, like, look, if this is what you really, really, really want to do and everything, you're gonna do it. Like, either way, no matter how hard it is, you're gonna do it. And I feel like that is very important for a younger child to hear. It's also important for them to see an unwavering, like, trust. It builds that framework of, like, yes, oh my God, of course I can do it. And that being said, that fear that kind of got implanted into me was really like potent. And I was like, well, maybe I look for a easier option. So once I let that out there into the world and I told these people, like, maybe an easier option, and I was kind of like, is there something else, maybe another way? And then I got more choices put into my lap. And I was kind of like, okay. And part of this was also me going and researching on the internet and everything too. Like, part of this was also the internet. So it's like people want to make you feel like it's so freaking impossible to go do what you want to do. But if you really, really want to do it, like I keep saying in this video, yeah, of course you'll be able to go do it. Like, you're gonna, like, you want to do it. If it's really what's meant for you and what you're feel called to do, like, freaking do it. Like, you're gonna be able to. Like, you're going to put the time, you're gonna put the effort, the blood, sweat, and tears into it, and you will be able to do it. Yeah, so I had more options landed in my lap, and I was like, okay, now anybody who has any sort of overwhelm issues in their life knows that this is already not turning into the greatest thing ever. You're definitely going to start getting really overwhelmed. I think anybody would with so many choices. And since there was no one to really tell me, like, no, you wanted to do this, you should go for this. Like, don't think of anything else as option unless, you end up really figuring out that's not your soul calling or whatnot. But, like, if you want to really do it, go for it, right? And I feel like it was just not, like, a safe thing. So, or at least the people around me didn't think it was a safe thing. So they didn't really nurture it. They tried to maybe, like, oh, well, if you can't do that, then maybe you should look into, like, doing something similar, like you could work at a zoo. So then I moved on to being maybe a zoologist. I was like, close enough. At the time, I didn't really consider, I was so young, I didn't really consider, like, being 16, you're not really thinking, like, I'm going to be working with these caged animals that literally have no life, and they're supposed to have a certain environment to nurture them and everything, but, like, So I was like, oh, all I was thinking was, like, I can help these creatures and animals and stuff in these places. So I started thinking about being a zoologist, and I lived in a place where there was literally no zoos. So I couldn't do an internship or anything there. And to start it off, I feel like back then when I was researching it, you did have to do a basically free internship at these zoos to try and get into the zoology world. And let me tell you, in a family that didn't make much to begin with, you're not going to be told to go do a job for free. Like, that, no. Because you're living in that kind of environment, they're like, man, no money is a risk. Like, because it was hard living for us, not making a lot of money. And, you see that growing up. So you're like, I don't know, like, I'm already living like that. I want to make good money, right? Because there's the other thing of, like, when you grow up in a family like that, in an area like that, a lot of people are looking for the jackpot. They're looking to make good money. And there's not really a sense of, like, oh, well, work doing your purpose or what you feel fulfilled in. It's more of just what's going to pay you the best and going to be the easiest to get into, which also makes, like, college and schooling really not, like, the best option for you, because in general, they're kind of like, oh, you're going to want to get into a career path so fast, and why spend the money on college, and yeah, why spend the money on college if you don't want to do something that you don't need to go to college for, right? But if you do want to do something that you need to go to college for, that's not really an encouraging mindset or anything. It's like, what can you do the fastest, right? Like, can I be a real estate agent? And you can be a real estate agent in like how many months, you know, or like half a year or 2 years. And like that's half of the year of schooling for like a marine biologist and stuff like that. All this from like experience that I actually had conversations with my family and stuff like that about. And the big difference there is that like I'm not going to be living in what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing, right? Then it's kind of like, okay, well, everybody's telling me that this is great. You'll be able to go on vacations, and then you'll be able to see them on vacations and stuff like that. And it's like, now looking back at it, obviously I see a lot of error in that. And I'm very much like, whoa, no, no, no. That is not the way you look at it. Like, if you're feeling called to do something, go and do it and try. I'm very much on that side now. But when you're younger, like I keep saying, like, you're very influenced and it's scary. The world is scary. And you don't want to go and take the risks by yourself, especially if it's going to mean you're the only one cheering for yourself and there's going to be nobody else telling you that you can do it and you can go out there and do whatever you want to do and feel, you know, like it doesn't matter how much money you're making as long as you're happy, right? And I didn't learn those valuable lessons yet. So I watched this passion I had grow. Well, I wasn't observing it at the time, but now I can look back and see how it shrunk as I got older and older and more influenced by other people's opinions. I went from a zoologist, and then I feel like, then I was kind of like, oh, you know, I don't have any zoos around me. I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm just going to look into being, what was next? A conservation officer around here, and maybe someone who rescues animals. The big thing there was that they don't make much money. Like, sometimes they do as a conservation officer, but the animal rescuing, unfortunately, doesn't really make much money. Back when I was younger, I mean, I'm 23, so I'm still pretty young, but like back when I was like that young looking, not many people were doing like content creation, or I didn't really know about that actually at that time either. And I didn't know like you could possibly make like, I don't know, the videos of like rescuing foxes or whatever like I've seen and I love. But yeah, and get like paid from that kind of stuff and everything, and people can genuinely go on the internet and just like do what they love and record it, and they get paid from it. So it's, you know, it doesn't really matter in the end, like really. But yeah, I didn't know that. So it went from that to a conservation officer. Then what did I do? I feel like then I kind of was thinking about, they're not, like, I'm not going to make enough money, right? And the worst part is that when you come from that kind of thing, you don't understand wealth or riches or money. So you're like looking for the biggest salary, right? Which is not how it works. It's not how you're going to get rich, right? You're not going to get rich just because your job pays you like, oh my God, $70,000 a year, right? No, that's not how that works. But that's what I was looking for. I would constantly search something up and then immediately search the salary. Like, I remember on my mom's laptop going to the table, like searching up the job, and then searching, getting like super excited about, right? Oh my God, look at this marine biologist, look at this, you know, this or that, this zoologist, like this is awesome. She looks so happy. And then you go look up the salary, and I remember just thinking like, oh my God, I can't do this. It's not in the cards for me. I just can't. Like, that's not enough money. And of course, you know, since we were struggling, it was like, that's not going to make me like any money. And for one person, yeah, you could probably get by on that. But like, that's not kind of like how I was viewing it. I was viewing it as like our family. And I was like, oh, man, that's not a lot of money, you know? And things are just going to get worse because that's how it was, you know? And that's like the environment I grew up around in. And I was just genuinely like, that's how it would be. And I remember every time, like, I vividly remember my soul being crushed every time. And then you add the fact that you need to like pay for school or something on top of it. And baby, it was out the window. I wasn't even thinking about it anymore. I was mourning it already. So, yeah, happiness, not a factor. Then, what did we go to? Then I started thinking, like, what's more practical? What is more, maybe ditch the tropical animal side, you know? Maybe let's think about going more into just a certain field, like a veterinarian. And so I started looking into that. I remember vividly going to a student counselor at my college with my mom. And before I went in, my mom, I love her, but she was like already looking at a pamphlet on the side that had jobs for like real estate, how fast you could get it done, like all that, in a whole list of these. And I remember I was like, she was talking to me about being a real estate agent. She was like, you can make so much money off this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm literally sitting here waiting to talk to the school counselor about becoming a veterinarian because that's the field I want to go into. Why are you talking to me about being a real estate agent when I ever said that I shared any interest in going and selling a house or sales in general at all? Like, a little rant there because I don't know, as I probably at that time, like 17-year-old going to 18, getting ready to go into college, damn, I did not want to be like, you know, I wanted to try and just go for something. I'm a very passionate person. I wanted to try and go for something, and I wanted support. Like, I didn't know that at the time, but what I really wanted is someone to support me and tell me, like, yeah, you can totally do it, like I said earlier. And I remember also, I went into this stools? Poop? No, I went into the school counseling's office, and I remember sitting down in front of her, and she was like, so you're interested in becoming a veterinarian? And I'm like, yeah, I love working with animals. I love the thought of like helping them. I love dealing with animals. I love being around them. I've always been such a passionate person about animals in general and just like nature and stuff like that. And she goes, oh my God, that's wonderful. That's like, you know, such a big requirement for needing to work. Obviously, you need to be patient with these pets. You need to like want the best for them, and that's great that you want that. It is a very, very, very competitive field though. Like, I want you to know that this field, the veterinarian field, especially to become like an actual veterinarian doctor, is so hard to get into. So it's gonna take a lot for you to even get like a position at a vet's office. And I was sitting there like, oh my God, like I thought maybe I would be like encouraged, right? But no, I'm getting told again, this is very hard. And like, I'm not joking, this lady made it sound like it was as hard as getting like a major's degree in like a doctor's. That's what it is, right? Like when you go like above and beyond being like a doctor and you get like I forgot what it's called. But she made it seem like it was like gearing up to be an astronaut going to Mars. And I was like, I thought like, you know, when you're younger, you're kind of like, I thought like the passion was enough, you know? I'm willing to like put in the work, but you're making it seem so scary that now I'm doubting if I actually will put in the work. You know, I don't know, if I even just jumped into it and went into school, yeah, I would have been overwhelmed, but maybe I even would have been like, oh yeah, you know, I'm learning about the structure of a dog. Like, I love this. You know, like, this is gonna help me go and save a dog possibly in the future. No, it was immediately like that. Like, it's such a high paying field, you know. So a lot of people are trying to get in there. And a lot of people, she literally was like, a lot of people are like you. They love animals and they really want to help them. And it's a very, very common field nowadays. You know, everybody's treating their dogs like they're, you know, family, and they are. And it's so, there's such special things to us, and it's so hard because sh- everybody's going into it. Like, even saying this right now, I'm like, hello? Are you, um, cool. So you're literally just telling me, girl, just give up. Like, I came to talk to you about this, and on top of that, she's like, you know what? There's also not a lot of schools around here that you can go and, like, learn this at. The closest one is, like, pretty far from here, and that's always hard too, because you're moving from your family. A lot of people do it, don't get me wrong, like, a lot of people do it. They go to college and, like, they go off and everything, but I do want you to know that they are pretty far. There's no, like, you do a lot of the first few schooling and everything here, obviously, and then you're going to move on, and you're going to have to go find a school like that accepts you and everything. Not once did this woman, like, mention, hey, have you thought of a veterinary's assistant? Have you thought about, ew, I'm sorry, have you thought about becoming a veterinarian assistant? Have you thought about starting to even just work at a front desk in a veterinarian's office, right? Because later on, my sister-in-law literally got a job at a dentist's office. At a, now I'm totally blanking on what it is. A veterinarian clinic. And I think she worked the front desk a little bit, but she would, like, clean up in the back, and she would keep, like, the kennels clean. Then she did her schooling online and became a veterinarian assistant, and it was super easy to do the schooling. But that was way later, and I didn't know that. And this lady was not telling me anything. She was just telling me all the reasons that I could not do this. It wasn't possible for me, right? So, yeah. That's what happened when I wanted to be a veterinarian, and I basically counted that out because at this point my self-confidence was descending. I had none in that field left. And what did I do? I was like, oh my god, okay, that's fine. Veterinarian, dogs, maybe I will become, like, a dog trainer. Maybe I can train dogs. Maybe I can still work with animals, and maybe just the dogs, though. So I really, like, looked into that, and I found out that you could train dogs for special needs people. And I was really passionate about that. I really did want to go into that until I saw the salary. And I was like, oh my god, first of all, there was it was whatever was local, and there was no programs like that near me. Like, I was not anywhere near, like, we're talking the middle of nowhere. Grew up in a little town, so yeah, there was, of course, no programs near me that had anything like that. And then I kind of looked into to see if, like, people trained, like, regular people train, like, canine dogs, and I was like, maybe I can do that. And that was kind of out of there because they train them themselves most of the time. So then I went on to pet grooming, and I really wanted to do pet grooming, and I was kind of like, maybe I can make this work. It's not that bad. And then you find out sometimes it is that bad. And I went to go try to apply to Petco, PetSmart, whatever was near me. And first of all, I called and barraged them about it, and they never got back to me. And I even barraged them about their pet training services. I wanted to become a trainer too if I could there. Nobody ever reached out or got back to me about that. And I was kind of like, okay, this is good. This is okay. I will just find a salon or something around me. So I did try. I really tried to get, go through the schooling and everything. But I was like, maybe somebody is able to train me on the job for like a salon around here. And nobody was willing to do that. Nobody really wanted to do that. None of the salons got back to me. At this point, I'm looking for other jobs, right? I'm kind of falling down into that corporate hole of like, I've got to grab what I can. So I'm working in like a house cleaning job. I'm trying to get into blue collar jobs. I'm trying to get into any other jobs that I could make a good buck while I was looking or trying to get into these things, right? So I tried to get a job in grooming, and there is next to none positions near me. Nobody wanted to train, nothing like that. And I tried to eventually get a job at a vet's office or something like that, and nobody was answering for the front desk positions in there because I had not yet acquired the probably resume that they were looking for that. And I went on to still barrage the PetSmart about getting hired there. I even went as far as to eventually we were just down to looking at doing a job in the PetSmart warehouse. Like, I was going to take anything I could get. I just wanted a job at the PetSmart warehouse. So this huge ambition of like wanting to help animals, wanting to do all this, it literally shrunk down to these pea-sized dream of standing in a freaking warehouse fishing fish out of a tank so that they could go get sold and probably in PetSmart. And I feel like, that being said, this is kind of like what the whole thing I was reflecting on, and I was kind of thinking like, wow, that is really amazing. Like, not amazing, but you get what I'm saying, that kind of amazing. Like, how it went from that big of a passion to just a big stressful ball of bleh that I was trying to deal with when I was growing up and everything. And never once was I directed to leave and go do something myself, other than, a really nice librarian that like, I saw her daughter was like working at Disney World in Florida, and she had so many opportunities from there to go to like college and everything. And I was definitely very inspired by that, but I was just like, oh my god, it's moving away, blah blah blah. I was so scared that I never even took action on any of that. And I was young. And when you're young, scared, and you're a woman, you don't want to go anywhere or travel by yourself. Most of the time, if you grow up in an environment where everybody's fearing for you doing that by yourself, and let alone like the people who care about you are not going to want you to go and do that by yourself. So, yeah, it was just, I know there's people out there that relate to me on this story, and I was just thinking, like, that is so incredible how it just shrunk down so small from this huge aspiration and dream that I had. And you know what? I was thinking about it again. Guys, I'm not a lost cause. I was genuinely thinking about it again, and I was like, maybe there's something in the future. Who knows what opportunity brings? I would love to travel, and I think now it's kind of honed down to, I feel like I would love to travel. Like, I would love to go nomad for like a year or so. Like, that would be amazing. Of course I have established like a bit of a family and everything already here. And I have my friends and a fiance and everything. But, you never know what life brings. And I have never shrunk. I did shrink my goals for a while there. Of course, that's what that story was about. But I just want to give encouragement and share this story because I feel like there's probably so many other people that go through that. And I just wanted to make you aware that it was not your fault that you didn't go and chase your dreams. Like, I know, because my inner child it has been so upset about this, right? And that's something that I kind of needed to listen to for a second there, and get my inner child a little bit of a break and be like, listen, I know I ignored you. Like, I really did ignore everything you wanted to be just to please other people. And I'm so sorry about that. But it's not over yet. You have the whole rest of your life to live. You have so many more years in your life, and that's what we all hope for, you know? And even when you're older and you retire or whatever, you still have a life. You still have time to go experience what you want, you know? It's never too late to go and experience the things that you want. And believe me, if it's something that you really want to do and it's something that was really put in your heart and set there for a reason, I'm getting emotional. It's going to happen still. It is going to happen. You just need to listen and find the way that it's supposed to happen. And you just need to, like, get to know it too. Like, remember who you are and what you did want to do. And maybe you don't do exactly that. Like, I doubt I'm going to be, not saying I'm not, but a marine biologist or a wildlife biologist or anything right now. I don't have any plans to go to school or anything, but I am not counting out the possibility that I get to experience everything that I wanted to when I was younger in my future. Like, I'm never going to count that out, and neither should you, because eventually it'll happen. Eventually you will be able to make it happen, and you'll be so happy that you finally got there. And I don't know, this is kind of just like my encouragement for you guys and a sharing of my story to let you know, if you went through the same thing, you know, you're not alone. And, you know, if you keep the hope and you keep working towards it and you revisit that goal or that dream you want, you're already halfway there. Because a lot of people don't even remember what their dreams were when they were younger. And they push them so far back that they don't even know what they want anymore. And they get lost. And they stay lost for a while. And you're already halfway there if you've remembered it. So keep working towards it. And I will too. And, you know, if this video kind of resonated with you, I hope to make more new ones like this and put it on my channel. So go ahead and hit subscribe so we can hang out again. I'm so happy if you resonated, well, depending on the circumstances, on what you resonated about. But I'm so happy that you heard this story if you did resonate. And I hope it was very encouraging for you. And I know I definitely needed to spill this out there and get it out there. So I will see you next time. I will see you in the future. I believe even if you don't subscribe, we will probably meet again. And I hope that you have gotten even further to your goals and dreams and to healing that, like, inner little child of yours that wanted to do everything under the sun and thought they were unstoppable. And I hope that you make so much more progress getting there by the next time I see you. And I love you guys. I'm glad I could make this. I will see you next time.